Picture this: empty streets, crumbling buildings, and an eerie silence that sends chills down your spine. These ghost towns, once full of life, now stand frozen in time, holding dark secrets and untold stories. Join us as we uncover the world's most haunted, abandoned cities where the past is never truly gone. Ready to step into the unknown? Let's go! Number 10. Centralia is a once thriving mining town in Pennsylvania, now infamous for an underground coal fire that began in 1962 and continues to burn today. The town was abandoned in the 1980s as the fire spread and toxic gases filled the air. The eerie remnants of the town, cracked roads, smoking ground, and decaying buildings make it seem as though time stopped in its tracks. The continuous smoke and the deserted streets lend a ghostly atmosphere, and the sense of abandonment combined with the underground fire creates a chilling, almost supernatural presence. Number 9. Known as Battleship Island due to its shape, Hashima Island was once a bustling center for coal mining, housing thousands of workers. However, by the 1970s, the coal reserves were exhausted and the island was abandoned. Now the crumbling concrete buildings and rusting structures stand silent, surrounded by the relentless sea. The ghostly ruins of this industrial island, with its empty apartments and abandoned facilities, evoke a sense of tragedy and the haunting remnants of a once thriving community, as though the souls of its former inhabitants linger in the silence. Number 8. Pyramiden was a Soviet mining settlement on the Arctic island of Spitsbergen, established in the 1930s. It was abandoned in 1998 when the Soviet Union collapsed and the mine was closed. The town is eerily preserved in a time capsule-like state, with frozen landscapes, empty buildings, and abandoned machinery. The cold, desolate environment, combined with the lack of human presence, gives Pyramiden a haunting atmosphere where it feels as if the ghosts of its former residents are still wandering its frozen streets. Number 7. Once a thriving diamond mining town in the Namib Desert, Kolmanskop was abandoned when diamond resources were depleted in the early 1900s. The buildings, with their faded walls and decaying interiors, stand like silent sentinels in the vast, encroaching desert. The sand slowly fills the rooms, giving the town a ghostly quality, and the sense of time standing still makes it feel as though the spirits of those who once worked there are still lingering in the air. Number 6. Krakow is an ancient hilltop town that was abandoned after a series of natural disasters, including landslides and earthquakes, rendered it unsafe for habitation. The crumbling stone buildings and narrow, winding streets of Krakow convey a sense of melancholy and abandonment. The town's isolation, combined with its history of natural calamities, makes it a ghostly sight, evoking the feeling that the spirits of its past inhabitants are trapped in the ruins, never having fully left. Number 5. Pripyat was a thriving city until the Chernobyl nuclear disaster of 1986, after which it was evacuated in a matter of hours. Today, the city remains eerily still, with empty apartment buildings, an abandoned amusement park, and decaying classrooms. The fallout from the disaster left the city contaminated and uninhabitable. The silence that now envelops Pripyat, coupled with the tragic history, creates a haunting feeling where the memories of those who lived there seem to echo in the empty spaces, as if the souls of the lost are still present. Do you want to know more and more about the unknowns of the world? So be sure to subscribe and like this video. Number 4. Varosha was a popular tourist destination in the 1960s and 1970s until the Turkish invasion of Cyprus in 1974 led to the evacuation of its residents. Since then, the area has been locked behind a military fence and left to decay. The once bustling hotels and streets now lie abandoned, and the buildings are slowly being overtaken by nature. The ghostly atmosphere here is thick with the sense of sudden abandonment, and the memories of a once vibrant community seem to haunt the empty streets, creating a ghostly, desolate vibe. Number 3. Kayakoi, once home to a large Greek community, was abandoned during the population exchange between Greece and Turkey in the 1920s. The village, now in ruins, consists of stone houses and churches, all of which remain untouched by time. The quiet, eerie feeling of the village, with its abandoned homes and empty places of worship, evokes a sense of loss and nostalgia, making it seem as though the spirits of those who lived here have never truly left. Number 2. Body was a bustling gold mining town in the late 19th century, but once the gold ran out, the town was abandoned in the early 20th century. Today it stands as a well-preserved ghost town with wooden buildings, rusty mining equipment, and artifacts scattered around. The isolation and silence of Body, combined with its well-preserved nature, gives it a haunted, timeless quality where the echoes of the past can almost be felt, and it feels as though the town's former inhabitants are still there, trapped in its ruins. Number 1. Agdam was once a thriving city until the Nagorno-Karabakh War in the 1990s led to its abandonment. The city was left in ruins, with its once bustling streets and buildings now reduced to crumbling remnants. The desolation of Agdam, compounded by the sorrowful history of conflict, gives it a ghostly atmosphere. The abandoned buildings, mosques, and homes are now empty, and it feels as though the spirits of those who were forced to leave continue to haunt the place, adding to the eerie, abandoned feel of the town.